What's up, friends? Welcome back to Skippers. Today I'm doing 4 must-add players for your fantasy baseball teams in Week 10. This is the Prospect Edition. First must-add player this week is going to be a stash, and that's Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers. 41% rostered this season in AAA, only 9 games, 278 average, 1 homer, 6 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. I wrote 6 home runs after saying 1 home run. That makes absolutely no sense. He's basically just doing a rehab assignment right now in AAA, recovering from a broken foot. I say basically because he didn't make the team out of camp, but people know why he's in AAA right now. The 21-year-old has dominated since being back for only 9 games. The Tigers should just call him up any day now. And he has the potential to be an impact bat for the Tigers and for you in your fantasy lineups. He's a left-handed hitter. He should slot into the middle of a lineup where they have Austin Meadows right now, who has hit 0 home runs, and they have 100-year-old Miguel Cabrera. Green is a career .291 hitter in 190 games in the minors with 30 home runs, 118 RBIs, and 23 stolen bases. He's a potential 5-tool player. Riley Green's really good. He's a top prospect for a reason. I think if you can stash him early, that's a really good thing. I expect to see him out within the next 2 weeks. My second must-add player this week is Gabriel Moreno of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's a catcher, 15% rostered this season in AAA, 324 average, 1 homer, 23 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. They expect him to be activated at some point this weekend. I saw that he's on his way to Detroit. He's taking over Danny Jansen's role. So if you think Danny Jansen had the ability to be fantasy relevant this season, then you should have no problem rostering Gabriel Moreno. He's the second highest ranked catching prospect in baseball. He has elite bat-to-ball skills, which could play more in a points league than a roto league because it is kind of a similar output to Alejandro Kirk, who is a guy who hasn't hit many home runs, but the 324 average, 23 RBIs, he can impact the game in many different ways. In 222 minor league games, Moreno is hitting .311 with 25 homers, 173 RBIs, and 18 stolen bases. The only problem for me with Gabriel Moreno is what's going to happen when Danny Jansen comes back. But the fact that they called him up right now shows that I think Danny Jansen's injury is going to be longer than we think. So right now I'm going to try and ride the wave. Again, catcher prospects coming up. We've seen it with Adley Rutschman here. We've seen it with pretty much every catching prospect. They struggle at the plate. But I'm going to take a chance on Gabriel Moreno in a position that we all know is pretty thin. 2 catcher leagues, this is an automatic one for sure I'm picking up. But again, just going to ride him while he's hot if he is hot. So pick up Gabriel Moreno. My third must-add player this week is Bryson Stott of the Phillies. 7% rostered, 188 average, 3 homers, 15 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. He's finally back in the big leagues, and he's contributed much more this second time around with consistent playing time. UNLV product, he didn't fare well with Joe Girardi at the start of the season, and I did not know what was going through Joe Girardi's head when they let him make the team out of camp and then proceeded to just not play him a lot. Bryce Harper even spoke up and said guys like Bryson Stott need everyday at-bats, which is absolutely true. How are you going to get better if you don't play all the time? They were just putting him in a position to fail. But Bryson Stott is back up. In the month of June, Stott is slashing .375, .423, and .792 with 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. Again, he doesn't have many StatCast metrics at this point because he didn't really play a ton, but he is 88th percentile sprint speed, which should allow for more stolen bases as well. He was a hit first prospect. Should he still see everyday at bats? I think Stott can be fantasy relevant and a solid contributor for your fantasy teams. I think he's a good player. I think he got the short end of the stick when he was up the first time. So, of course, everyone's kind of dropped him. He's available in 93% of leagues. I'm taking a flyer on Bryson Stott. And finally, my fourth must-add this week is Brendan Donovan of the Cardinals. 30% rostered, 304 average, 1 homer, 15 RBIs, and 2 bags. I think Donovan's a nice little boost if you need help in the average categories of your roto leagues. He doesn't hit the ball very hard, but his weighted on-base average is top 9% of the league. His strikeout percentage is top 9% of the league as well, and his walk rate is top 3% of the league. He's a very successful hitter against the fastball. He's hitting .459 with a 44% hard hit rate against that pitch, as well as hitting .308 against sliders. So obviously another guy with good contact skills. And an interesting stat I saw on Brendan Donovan was that his weighted on-base average with no shift is .365, while his weighted on-base average with the shift is .419. This is an interesting little nugget there that doesn't really make much sense to me. I'm going to ride Brendan Donovan while he's hot for right now. I'm going to be quick to pull the trigger on him if his average dips significantly, because I think where he is valuable is in points league, just racking up the base hits pretty much. and a decent amount of RBIs and a couple bags would be nice as well. But I think the lack of power is why I wouldn't be picking him up in roto leagues. So points leagues, take a flyer on Brenton. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, join the Discord. Let me know who you guys are picking up in week 10 of fantasy baseball.